What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing something pretty similar to what we did yesterday. Yesterday we went over how to create this delivery system, and I can show you as well real quick. But we went over how to create this delivery system, and then I uploaded a second video later that day, just kind of going over how we can optimize all of this, because before we had it in the works, we had all of our scripts in each individual block, and it was managed that way, and we took all of those scripts out and combined it into one server script that manages the entire delivery handler, which is it isn't completely different. So it uses a for IV and pair loops. So if you don't really know how to use that much, I didn't do a great job of explaining how exactly it works, but essentially what we can do is by naming delivery parts and getting all of the children. So basically what this line of code here is doing is go into this folder, and it's collecting all of these right here. So there's going to be 6 items of information that's being held in delivery parts. And so when we do for I comma delivery part, what we're actually doing is this would normally be V, like this. It'd be I comma V in pairs, and all of these would be V, and it really wouldn't make a difference if I went through and I changed all of this to V, but I just renamed it to delivery part, and it does the same thing. And so what we're able to do is figure out if delivery part is a part then. And so what this is doing is we're looping through all of our delivery parts, but we're only manipulating the ones that are being manipulated by the player. So if the player is going to hit a proximity prompt in one of these, then let's say the player hits 3 or 4, right? So he hits 4, boom. So this script is only going to loop. It's going to loop through all of them, but it's only going to manipulate 4 and do what 4 needs it to do, right? So if the player goes to 5 and tries to drop off at 5, it's still going to loop through all of them and be like, hey, like your tool is not equal to 5, to 5, it's equal to 4. It's not going to work. So that's pretty much how these loops work, and it's very useful when you have to do something like we're doing here. This is very, very efficient in how we can do that. So today I wanted to talk about a second job system that we can make. I'm not really entirely sure the direction that we're going to go. I'm thinking that what I want to do is add on to our delivery system again and make it so that we can have vehicles that you can actually store some of these boxes in, right? And so the script is going to know where your tools are at, and how you can store them and how many you can store at a time. And so we're going to just begin working on that. I don't really know where to start first. I think what I can do is let's just look up get a free model here. We're gonna get a box truck or a cargo van or something like that. So we have this Ford Transit cargo van. It's got 17 scripts in it. Good lord. So we're just gonna use this to kind of come up with a way of a simple inventory system that isn't exactly like a GUI interface, but it will tell you how many boxes that are in the van, and it'll give you the option to unload the van if you would like. So the way that I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go in the body of the cargo van here, and I'm going to insert 2 parts. I don't know if this is going to work. I hope it is. But we're going to insert some parts, and we're going to hope it works. So I have this part here. I'm just going to throw it in the body, and then we're going to move it around. I have this plugin called Build V4, but there's also other build plugins. I'm not a builder, guys, I'm a scripter, but when I do have to move parts around, especially in models, I really do prefer build v4 over anything else. So if you ever need something like that, definitely check it out. It's worth it. F3X is also pretty good. I don't really use it. It's just I never have. I just enjoyed build v4 over anything because it's, to me, like, this looks very old, but it's, all these buttons have a nice purpose and you got a lot of options, and it's just the user interface for this plugin versus F3X, to me, just feels like, it just feels easier to navigate. So I'm not a builder, again, so I'm not going to tell you what to do there, but yeah, so I got my parts inserted into the body, and I went ahead and I just made the transparency 1, so it's pretty easy for us to not see them. And so I'm gonna put a proximity prompt in both of these, and I don't really know exactly how I want to do this, but we'll give it a go. So I'm gonna just name this one like load 1 or something, and then unload. So I'm just gonna keep them. Well, there's no parts, so I'm gonna rename it. So I'm gonna just rename it to load and unload, so we're not driving ourselves crazy here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just insert a script in each of these. So I mean, honestly and truly, we can probably just put it in the body, but it's whatever. So I'm just gonna name this load unload, so we know what it is, and then we're gonna go through. What the hell, I just deleted it, shoot. Alright. So we are going to make this do something. So first things first, we need to figure out what our load and unload parts are. So local load is equal to script.parent.load, and then local unload is equal to script.parent.unload. Okay, and so now that we have those two parameters set up, we're going to want a way to keep track of what is in the how many boxes are inside of the vehicle. So the best thing that we can do for that is we can say, what do we want to do? We want an int value. So we're going to put an int value in load, and I'm just going to name this box count or something simple, and then we're going to make it a parameter here. So local box count is equal to script.parent.boxCount. No, it's actually equal to load dot box count. So now that we have the box count, we can actually start thinking about the function that we want to happen when the player presses load. So first things first, I'm going to change the action text. So I want the action text of the proximity prompt to display how many boxes are in the van at one time. So how I'm going to do that is say local load prompt. Actually, we'll just say load prox is equal to load dot prox, and then local unload prox is equal to unload.proximity prompt. And so we'll say load prox.action text is equal to, and we'll say box count dot value, and then we'll say dot dot out of 10, something like that. Or yeah, we'll do out of 10 or out of 20, 25, something stupid. Let's do 10. And then we'll do the same thing for the unload. So we'll say unload prox dot action text is equal to box count dot value dot dot, and then we'll do a /10. And so that'll show us the action text of how many boxes are actually in the van at any point in time. So now that we have that, I'm gonna write a local function, and I'm gonna call this store box. And the goal of this is we really want a way to take the box out of the player's inventory or out of his character and put it into the van he's going to be driving. Now, it's not going to help him out with navigation or anything. It's just going to allow him to carry a bunch of boxes. And so I don't know exactly how this is going to work. I don't even know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna give it a go and see what happens. So I'm gonna go into my player value script. Now if you don't have a player value script, you can create a new script, and this is just where I created all of my economy scripts for the player, all the bank scripts, as well as like the data save. And if you want to see how to do that, I have my second video, or my third video, my second or third, maybe fourth video, is how to create a bank system. So check that out, and you can figure all this out. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna slide right up under cache here, and we're gonna create a a new instance. Now I don't know what this instance is going to be, and I kind of want to go look at a reference real quick to see how I did it in this other game, because I do have this other game where it's like a security checkpoint pretty much. And so what happens is when the player walks into the game, all of his tools are taken out of his inventory and put into a folder that's created inside of the player. Now it's not exactly a folder, it's I think it's a value, but it's stored inside that value. And so the player's tools are never deleted, but they are stored somewhere else, so that when the player leaves that area, he gets his tools back. And so that's really what's cool about how that works. I just need to figure out how exactly I did it so that we can replicate it in this video. I'm just gonna give it a go, because I don't really see another way forward, and other than just trying. So I do know that I need to create a some kind of folder. So we'll just start with a folder, and we'll say this is box store, and we'll put this inside of the player. Okay, so what this is gonna do is create a folder, and it's gonna create it inside of the player, and I'm just gonna rename it to box store. And it's very important that you rename instances that you create so that you can find them properly with other scripts. It's very important, especially because when I go to my load unload script, we're gonna have to find this box store. So it's very important that it's named box store, so that when I go to my load unload script and I go to player.box store, then we'll be able to find it. So the way this is going to work is it's not really ever going to check to see if it's never going to be stored inside the truck itself. It's always going to be stored inside the player, but we'll have to use the truck in order to get the box in and out, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like tricking the player. We're just making a box disappear and reappear. But as far as I'm concerned, this is all we need to do for the folder right now. So I have that other game open. I'm gonna quickly look to see how we did this, just to make sure. So what's cool is they did that. So they made a bool value and called a security check, and then when the player goes to that security check, if I can find the model teleporters, here it is. So what is security? Player.security storage. Alright. So this is what I think we're gonna do. So, oh my goodness, everything is lagging. Okay. So when the player wants to load something into the truck, we're gonna have to loop through his backpack and loop through his character and put all of that inside of box storage in the player's inside of the player. And so I think the absolute easiest way to do that would be to, what is wrong with my, but the absolute easiest way to do that is going to be, let me reopen this here. Okay, to do more loops. So we want to loop through the player's backpack, and then we want to check to see if it's a tool, and then we want to, if it is a tool, we want to store it in the player's box storage. So we're gonna say for I comma v in pairs, and then here we're gonna say player, and we want to make sure we have a player parameter up here as well. So we want to say player, and then we want to say, we want to say player dot backpack pack get children, and then we want to put that in there, and we'll say do. And so when we do this, we want to say if v is a tool, then we want to say v dot parent is equal to player dot, and then we want to say box store, player dot box store. And so that'll allow us to take any tool that is in the player's and let's do this, and v dot name is equal to box. So then anything that is a tool and its name is box will be sent to the player's box store. Okay, and then after that we want to check the player's character, so we want to say for I comma v in pairs, and then we want to say player dot character, and we want to say get children, boom, and then we want to say if v is tool and v dot name is equal to box, then we want to set the parent to player.box store. And so what this is going to do is very cool. It's going to loop through all, like if a player has one of the tools in his hands, it's going to loop through that and then find whichever tool is in his hand and then send it to box store. So since we're also going to be removing the player's tool from his hand while the GUI is up, so we went over this last video, or the video before last, we want to fire the event delivery reset, because game storage.delivery reset, because if the player does not unequip the tool completely, then the GUI and the delivery marker still stay on the screen after the tool is destroyed. So the player has to be, or it has to be unequipped, or it has to be reset manually. And so that's why we have this delivery reset event, because we already have it tied to the local script, so that when this is fired, it's all reset. So all we need to do is just reset our GUI and then plug in player there so it'll fire properly. And that should be that for that local function. Now the only thing that we really need to do to get this going now is to possibly create a, let's see. So I'm thinking that we're gonna want to make a function that will give the tools back. Maybe not, but because we're gonna want to only give one at a time. We don't want to give all of them at a time. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is go ahead and we're gonna set up the load procs. We're gonna set up the load procs to fire whenever, we're gonna set up the load procs proximity prompt to fire this function whenever the player triggers the prompt. So the way that we do that is we can say load prompt, or load procs.triggered is equal to, what is it equal to, guys? No, it's not equal to anything. We're gonna say connect function, and then in here we're gonna say player probably, and then we're gonna want to do a couple of things here. Nah, we're actually not gonna want to do a couple of things. So we're just gonna want to remove this because we did this wrong. So we don't want to put the function line in there. We just want to write store box in the parentheses, and we don't want the store box to have its own parentheses. We just want it to be like plain text inside of the connect parentheses. And what this will do is when the player triggers the load procs, it will trigger this function. So let's test it to see what happens. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. So we can see. I've had a string of good luck of things just working recently, so let's give it a go. See, we can deliver it there, but what I really want to test, oh man, we can't even see our proximity prompts, so I don't even know if they're there, to be honest with you. Let's check it out and see what's going on. So they are there. I'm just thinking that it might be, yeah, it is too far. But so get children is not a valid member of backpack. So I don't know. I wanted to get the children of the backpack. I've never had that error before. Player.backpack get children. I'm looking at another code where it works. So it's saying that backpack get children. Maybe I spelled it wrong. Yeah, I did spell it wrong. Yeah, my dyslexia, guys, is the problem. So yeah, we want to save that. And so what we have now is not what we have now, but what we want to do now is move these proximity prompts out so that when the player goes to actually trigger these guys, you can see them. And I believe that we fixed this right here. So you want to make sure you spell children correctly. I'm just dyslexic as hell, so it's hard for me sometimes to differentiate the spelling. So I'm gonna get my box and I'm gonna come over here, and it works. So it puts it in, and then I want to see if it stores it. Boom, so it does, and the price is still there, and so is, that's cool as hell actually. So now we can do the same thing, and boom, we have another box. So now what I want to do is make sure that our counter is going up. So since we did an int value, it's pretty simple. We can just say box count dot changed, and then we can say connect function, and then we can set up a little bit of a like literally just take these and then put them in here. So the every time that these values are changed, the action text will update, and so that way we can see how many boxes are in there at a time. So what we want to do is we also want to make it so that when these go in, so if box count is less than 10, then we want to store the box, and then we want to say box count dot value is equal to box count dot value plus 1, and let's make sure we put dot value here as well. So that being said, when I don't really necessarily down here want this to take like, well actually that's fine there because we're not giving it to anybody. So I want to write another local function, and I'm going to call this local function take box, and then here we just want to say player like usual, and then instead of looping through everything, we just want to say player or local box give is equal to player dot box store find first child, and then we'll just say box. And so what this is going to do is just go in, and it's going to find one box, and then we're going to say box give dot parent is equal to player dot backpack. And so now when we do that, we can go ahead and set up our our unload procs and just see if all this works. And so I also want to add, I want to make the box count go down. So the first thing I want to do is check to see if there's any boxes in the player's box count. Box store, if player.box store, find first child box, then we can say, we can get rid of this shit because that's wrong anyways. We can say box give dot parent is equal to dot parent is equal to player dot backpack. Alright, I had to think about that for a second, but now that we got it, I want to add a box count dot value is equal to box count dot value minus 1. And then here we want to write an else statement and just say print, and then we're gonna say no boxes. Perfect. So now that we have that, we should, both of our buttons should work, and it should store them in our player, and then we should be able, like, it should do a bunch of stuff. So let's see if it all works. I'm kind of curious myself. So we got the box. I want to see if when I load it, cool, it does, but it doesn't get rid of it didn't update the damn, it didn't update the numbers, so that's a problem because I want these numbers updated. So now we can load our truck up with a bunch of boxes. It's crazy how it says 3 now after I put a bunch in there. I need to look at that, and we need to see why that did that, because that's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. So I didn't get any errors. The only thing that I can think of at the moment is that the box count is set to 0. I guess all I can think of, like, which it's set to what it needs to be set to. But the problem is I think what I'm gonna do is just put that there, because I think what's going on is we don't need to do this this loop, because we're not trying to get all the boxes. The player should only have one box at a time anyways, so we don't really need to get all of them. We can just say player if player dot backpack find first child box, and then we can keep that like that. I don't need this V. We can say we'll do this because it's getting all messy and we don't want it all messy. We want it to look good, so just bear with me here. I'm gonna make it look nice. So we're gonna say local box is equal to boom, and then we're gonna say box here, and then I'm gonna say box dot parent is equal to boom. So we should have one end, and then this end is for that one. So we have an extra end here, it looks like. I think. What happens if I get rid of it? Looks good. So we can back these up just so we can see a little bit better of like what is going on. And we kind of want to do the same thing for the player.character, because we don't really want to well, I don't want to do this right here, so we'll say box backpack, then we'll copy that and then put that there, and then we're gonna say local box character is equal to player.character find first child, and we'll say box. If box backpack, and then we can get rid of this stuff right here, so we'll say if box character, then, and then we'll say if box count dot value is greater than 10, then we can say box count dot value is equal to box count dot value plus 1. And I think that's where we messed up. I think we had a minus there, didn't we? I don't want to redo all that just to find that out, but we may have had a minus sign there, and that's probably what was messing up our box count in the first place. So I think now that we've done that, we're pretty good. Let's just see what happens, because I have no clue, to be honest with you. So we get our box, and we're gonna come over here and boom, so loads in there, but it didn't, so we didn't make it change the parent, so that's the problem. So we have to say box character dot parent is equal to player dot box store. So that way it'll remove it from our inventory, and then it'll put it into the hopefully it'll do what we want it to do. So it's still not removing it, and I'm not entirely sure why, unless I messed up some parameters or something. It doesn't look like it. Everything fine. First child looks fine. You know, it might be because I don't know. I really don't know why it's not working. Oh, I know why it's not working, because box backpack dot parent. So we have to make sure we say .parent. That's why it's not working. I was about to give up. I was about to, alright, I quit for the night. So but no, so we have to make sure that we specify where we want it to go, and then we can ensure that it goes there by testing. So boom, so now it does remove it, and then I can check to see, oh, I don't want to change the parent of anything. So it does put our box there. So now let's open it up and we can see, like, we got the address here and we can take it there if we want, but I want to put that in there. And so it does get rid of pretty much everything I needed to get rid of. And then let's see if it stops at 10. So I got 4, 5, and I can even hold it in my hand and it will delete what I needed to. So it's 8, 9, and 10. So we're at 10. Let's see if we can put another box in. So it won't let us put another box in, and it won't go up on count. So let's drive this bad boy around just to show you that, you know, we can move it, and then we'll just come pull up over here on our delivery spots. Boom. So let's get out and let's open up one of our boxes. So we got a ticket over here, and then that gives us another box, and it wants to go over here. And so as you can see, everything still works. So we were able to make it so that we can put up to 10 packages in this vehicle, and then we can get them out of the vehicle and still kind of know where to deliver them at and still get the same price. So we're not losing any information along the way. It's still allowing us to do everything that we need to do, this is pretty awesome. Like, we can have a bunch of boxes with a bunch of different prices, and they're all different prices, and just have them paid randomly based on, you know, what is theoretically in the box. You know, like, it just allows for better role play, I suppose. And you know what's cool about it is we have this deliver here prompt, so you know, we can easily find it. It's in big red letters. And so I think this is a pretty cool system that is a good addition to any game. And I think that's just about going to wrap up what we did today, because we're not throwing any errors. Everything seems to be running pretty well. If we really want to dive into this again, we can say well, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, we really don't want to do anything else. I mean, the only thing I can really think of is I ran into an error a minute ago where I gave myself 2 boxes, and you know, you really don't want to give yourself another box. So I'm gonna write another parameter here, and we're gonna say local. Again, we're going to do local backpack, and we're going to do box character, because we want to, box character. So we want to make sure that we have both of these parameters being checked in the player. So we'll say if box backpack or box character, then we'll say print, and we'll just say nope, so you can't do that. And then we'll say else, and then we'll give ourselves these here. Boom. And then we can keep this else statement just in case we have no boxes. So this will check if we have boxes. If we don't, it's going to say no boxes in the van, that is. And then if we do have boxes in the van, we're going to check to see if it's in the player. If it is, then we're going to say nope, but if it's not, then we're going to give it to him and release a thing. And that should solve our problem with the boxes there. So let's test one more time, and let's see if that fixes everything. And if that fixes everything, we will wrap up this video, because this is turning into a pretty long video. So as you can see, boom, boom, and then we want to take this out, and then actually let's put that back in. Let's go take this one out, and then let's see if we can get it. So see, saying nope, still saying nope. So I have to go deliver this first, or put it in the truck before it'll go give me another one. So I think that's pretty cool, and I think that's gonna wrap up our video for the day. I'm pretty tired, guys, and I'm actually excited about this system. It's turning out pretty well. I think tomorrow, again, we either might create a new system, or we might just continue adding on to this system if I can think of anything to add to it. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys find some value out of this. If you did, or you want to see more Roblox Studio tutorials, please hit that subscribe button, leave a like, it really helps me out. Hope you guys have a good rest of your days, and I'll see you later.